Hi, everyone. It's Lynn from Devine Central. I am back with video number 9 in my series on reading at fairs and festivals. Now, today I'm going to start talking to you about outfitting your tent or your booth. And I'm going to break this into two parts. Today, I'm going to talk to you about inside the booth or tent. And then the next video, I'm going to talk about the specifics that you need to know for the tent itself, for the outdoor stuff. Okay, so let me start by recommending make a statement. Why don't you? I mean, come on. If you're going to be there, you want to draw people to your booth, right? So think lots of color or dramatic black. I know a gal that did pale pink sequin, and she literally adorned herself in them, and her whole booth was light pink sequins. And you know what? People knew her. People could see her from across the room when they came in, if they were repeat people from a different event, and they knew exactly who she was when she saw them. Now, the same thing kind of happened for me. Here is my first book. And you know what? I bought that black mandala because I don't know, I found it on Amazon. I liked it, so I bought it. And I'm, I don't want to say unfortunately, because it's not unfortunate, but it stuck. And now I can't get rid of it because everybody is looking for the black and gold mandala when they come in immediately into a room. They scan the people that, like me, are looking for my books. So there you go. It's called branding, folks. That's how it starts. So anyway, let me see what my notes say here next. All right. So yeah, what I want you to start with for looking for a booth design is start with Google, start with Pinterest. If you go to Google, make sure that you search on tarot booths and click on the images once it comes up, because that's where you're going to find all of the different images of various kinds of tarot booths. Study those pictures. Figure out what made you stop on any one picture. What was in that image that you liked so much or that grabbed your attention? And if you have Snagit, which is a wonderful program, snagit.com, or just your print screen on your computer, save the pictures or the images, put them in a folder. Mine's called Festival Pics, and never delete them, because time and time and time again, you will go back to those pictures when you're looking for something, specific. Now, you may not like someone's setup, but you might love their color combination. You might like their table setup. You might like the adornments in their booth. It's going to be something. You might like their signage, and you'll always want to keep going back and looking at those pictures again. So save those. Likewise, if you are out doing a dance work, then you should also be snapping lots of pictures there too. And believe me, no one minds. Oh, sometimes the event planners would prefer you not take pictures of their event, but for the most part, nobody cares. And so you can snap pictures of things that resonated well with you, that drew you to their booths. And then you keep those pictures, download them into the same files, study them as well. And then you start building your own booth with the best things that you gathered from everybody else's. And don't worry about imitation, because what do they say? Imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. And honestly, when you're all done with your booth, it's not going to look like anybody else's anyway. Now, here's one of my earlier indoor booth designs. And this was before I got my retractable signs. And a gal liked it so much, she asked me if she could copy it. And which I thought was really kind of nice of her. Anyway, here's a picture of her final design alongside mine. Can you see the similarities? But can you see how different they are? So, like I said, don't worry about how yours will turn out. Trust me when I say it's not going to look like anybody else's. It's going to look like you. Okay, so most booth contents can be used for an indoor booth or an outdoor booth, just with some minor changes. So I have 4 setups. I have my main 8x10 indoor booth for psychic fairs and that kind of thing. I have a smaller indoor booth, like 4x7, for the craft shows that I like to go in and do, or the smaller marketplaces. I then have a 10 by 10 huge festival tent for street festivals and winery events. And then I have a small 8 by 8 canopy, with that doesn't come with all the doors and sides and windows. And I use that for, like smaller outdoor markets, or, if I just want to, pop up markets, that kind of thing. I will go over my tents and all that stuff with you at a later tomorrow, or not tomorrow, sorry, but the next video. But anyway, here's what I include in my inventory, regardless if it's indoors or outdoors. I have a 4-foot folding table I got at Sam's Club for $46. It has adjustable legs, and I like it. Oh, and I've seen it at Walmart too. And I like it because it's easy to fold up and it fits just fine in the back of my car. And I use that as my greeting table. And then I have a small scissor leg table I got from Sam's for $27, also available at Walmart. And I use that as my reading table. Now, you're going to need at least 2 folding chairs, and I highly recommend metal because they're going to last. Now, Walmart sells them for $26 a piece. Ouch, right? That's kind of expensive. So you should consider maybe looking for, I started, by the way, with a card table, not a little scissor table. But honestly, I moved to the scissor table because eventually I found out that the bigger table space I had, the more crap I brought, the longer it was to set up and tear down. And I realized over time I didn't need that stuff to be successful. So hence the smaller table. But you can start with a card table and 4 chairs. A friend of mine set up her booth. Her husband went out and found them at a garage sale for $10. So look on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or some other marketplace that you might have in your area. I have 2 big tapestries, wall tapestries, that I hang in the back of my booths. I have a black and gold mandala for my indoor booths, and I have a big white one for my white outdoor tent. And then I have an array of a lot smaller for craft shows and, for small pop-up stuff that I do. You can search for wall art, reading cloths, altar cloths on Amazon and on Google. And Pinterest too, by the way. They've got some nice stuff. There are so many different colors and so many different designs, and tons of them are going to come up. And you probably already have something at home that you've already purchased. So here's a couple that I'll show you just from Amazon. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Look at the prices on these. I mean, they're really ridiculously low. I will say this. You need to be aware of the fact that most of these inexpensive wall decor items are not totally durable. So they're not going to hold up to really strong winds, gusts, wind gusts or heavy rain. So you might be wanting to take them down really fast or not spend a ton of money on them because you might have to replace them. They can rip and damage fairly easily. All right. So for my indoor booth, I suspend the black one from a photographer's backdrop frame that I bought on Amazon. I'll show that to you. And I use it with shower rings with little hooks on it that I bought at Target. For the outdoor booth, I simply bought mini clamps from Harbor Freight, or I think I got a couple of them also at Ace Hardware, something like that. What I ended up doing was for my outdoor booth, I used to use zip ties. And unfortunately, it was a pain to put them up, and then we had to cut them down. And these clamps worked easier and faster. Spandex table covers. Oh my God, they will make your tables look so much more professional. I have one for my greeting table. Now, my 4-footer costs like $10. But oftentimes, if you use the table provided by the indoor event planner, they usually have 6 and 8-foot tables and 2 chairs that they provide for you. You'll know which ones are which. But what I did is I bought a 4-foot, 6-foot, and an 8-foot. With tax and shipping, I only paid $41. And then I keep the extras that I don't use in a box of spare booth supplies. And I keep that on the floorboard behind the driver's seat of my car. And that way I always have extra something if I run out or if I need it. So again, I don't use the event planners tables for indoor events. I use my own. All right. And that gives me more room in my booth because those 8-foot tables only take up the whole front of your booth. And gosh, you can't get anybody back there. All right. Tablecloths.com is my favorite place to go for these. They have like 29 different colors. You'll be amazed. And they have them in different sizes. They're very inexpensive. And I just love having them. Here they are. Okay. My indoor booth, I use an older 5 by 8 foot lightweight Oriental rug that I bought like 20 years ago at Home Depot. And it was so thin. Maybe it was Fleet Farm. It looked both places, but it was so thin and almost velvety that even with a rug base underneath it, I couldn't have it on carpet because it just kept bunching. So, they got relegated to the basement and I never used it. Well, I whipped it out and I've been using it in my booth. And honestly, not very many people do have them. It will be noticeable to people if you don't have one, but I'll tell you what, it'll sure be noticeable if you do. And it just really adds to the ambiance and the mystique of the booth. You know what I'm saying? So even if you were to get like 3 or 4 and just overlap them, smaller ones and overlap them, it's that look, that boho look that is just really kind of fun. So again, I would strongly recommend garage sales, Facebook Marketplace, and other places like that, so you can buy them on the cheap. Now, for my outdoor booth, I use plastic outdoor mats. We started using them in our RV. They're in a lot of RV stores, but you can get them now in a lot of crazy fun colors. I have a 6x9 that's plenty big enough for my 8x8 and my 10x10 space outdoors. And why it's important for me is because it protects my feet and my ankles from the emanating heat from being on asphalt or, in a street, at a street festival in the summer when you're setting up on 150-degree pavement. You'll be glad that you had something in between you and that surface. And then they're easy. I just roll them up and carry them with, long bungee cords. If you're setting up on grass, it keeps the mosquitoes and the gnats and the dampness out of your booth. So it's really good to have something. All right. So plastic rugs, you can get them as low as $15 for a 5x7. I also looked at home decor store, Etsy, Amazon. If you look up outdoor plastic rugs, what did I use? Is that what I used? Outdoor plastic. They can come up with some really nice ones, and they're a little more expensive, but they're really pretty. And if that's going to be part of your design of your booth, that's something you might want. Okay. So for my table accessories, I have a candelabra that I used to use when I had my bigger tables. And when I had my card table, I could have it set up there at the end. And it was kind of a block between me and the client and the people walking down the aisle. It was just kind of a little block. And I really liked it. But I ended up needing to get single candle holders for my smaller booth. And they just migrated over. I wrap them up in little mini battery operated mini lights, and that kind of draws people to the booth and adds to the ambiance. And I got these at Hobby Lobby along with my reading bowl. And again, I wrap them up in lights. I am using distressed white or distressed off-white. I like it because I can throw stuff in my bag, pull stuff out of my bag. If it gets bumped or nicked or whatever, you would never know. Stuff can get beat up when you're hauling it in and out of places all the time. All right. My signage, my table signs, same thing. That's where I got them, was Hobby Lobby. Now, for my colorful inserts for my table signs, I use postermywall.com. And most recently, I've just started using Canva. And you can design them super easy. And then that's where you snag it. You can snag them, or on Canva, you just download it because Canva's free. And I will create the sign, whatever size that I want. And I have a color laser printer. If you don't, just take it to Office Depot and let them, not only will they print them off for you, but they will also laminate them. Or you can just buy laminating, sheets there and do it yourself if you want to. That's an inexpensive way to do signs. I will forewarn you, and I'll probably hit this later on when I talk about marketing. Don't be adding a whole bunch of stuff. I've seen people with 50 different things that they do on their marketing material. People, they don't stop because they don't know what they're supposed to do with you. So I really strongly suggest if you're going to have a table sign, you're a tarot reader. This is how much it costs. Cash or credit, whatever. Sign up here. Keep it simple so they know exactly what you're doing and how much you're charging, because that's what they're going to make their decision on. For my main indoor signage, I started out with a 24 by 36 corrugated plastic sign that I saw at my first psychic fair. Here it is. This. I love this gal's sign. And so I went looking for it and I found it on Vistaprint. I think it was $30, and I ordered one. And I found the stand for it on Amazon. And again, I'll be posting this stuff down below. So just in case, you don't have to be writing all this down. I want you to look at these pictures and see what I've got. After I started making some money, I graduated to retractable signs. Here they are. You can see them in this picture. You know what? These things run like $200 a piece, sometimes a little more, but they are so much easier to transport show to show because they just collapse down into a little tube and go into a bag and you're done. I'm going to tell you right now, you can find them on Amazon, various types and sizes and quality and price. And so there are some that are way more affordable than others. And I originally purchased mine for my corporate business. And so when I retired and switched over, I just had them reskinned with my tarot stuff. And so that kind of now that's what I use. So Vistaprint.com, and also look at local graphics design shops like Fast Signs for those. One last thing, it's probably the best money I ever spent for either booth, bar none, no matter what. I bought myself a wagon. I used this 4-wheeled collapsible arm dolly that I got for $19.95 at Home Depot. And I would put everything on and I would go through a door well into a building and my table would catch and everything would get knocked off the cart. Or I'd be walking down an aisle and turn a corner and my bag would fall and roll over and over. It was so just, no, it was so frustrating. So I ended up buying a canvas wagon, and I didn't go cheap. I paid $75. I mean, I thought that was kind of expensive for a wagon, but you know what? It's the best money I ever spent. Everything that I have in my indoor booth, my entire 8x10 will fit in that wagon. And it's one trip in and one trip out when you're hooking up. Okay, that's it. In my next video, I'll tackle tents and other outdoor accessories. So I will see you in the next video. Hey, wait, stop. Please like this video. I would love for you to subscribe, but I at least would like you to like it if you are so inclined. That's how it gets found on YouTube. Thanks. See you next time.